Guys, I've finally done it. I have watched every show of the big three animation networks. I can finally tell you all the secrets there are to animation. All animators are real. I am actually Barnacle Boy. I popped out of the TV. I'm here right now. I am 87 years old. Or at least that's how I feel after watching a bunch of children's cartoons. Oh yeah, I'm wearing this again because I wanted to wear this in a video that doesn't suck balls. So, I finally made it to Nickelodeon. Despite having the most popular episodic and serialized cartoon of all time, Nick seems to be completely ignored now, which is sad. It's just a SpongeBob machine now. But Nick was my favorite child as a kid. Now it's just a shell. Or maybe it's not, but that's for later. Same rules as previous videos, no live action or preschool shows. Let's just dive directly into the slime. Here are my top 35 favorite Nickelodeon shows. Fanboy and Chum Chum. Wait, no, click off! So I don't know what the consensus is on this show. For a full decade, it was just a punching bag. But then there was a solid munch in 2020, where it was the single biggest show. Everyone was talking about it for no reason. And now, well, here it is. One of the many shows that can be summed up as two friends hang around and annoy everyone around them. This one stands out due to being a CGI. They actually translate the squash and stretch style of 2D animation rather well. The problem is that I want to strangle the main characters, but I keep slithering on my graphs. I mean, they can be tolerable, or even generally funny, but they can be really annoying, since they are always in the right, even when they're clearly just annoying someone who did nothing wrong. Justice for my boy Lenny. Actually, that's a point for the show. I really like the sidecast. Someone really asked, what if Harry Potter was good? I'm so proud of them. And like, they have a superhero who kills children. It's great.
Can't stand children crying. Oh well, I'll just have to destroy him instead.
Overall, I'm mixed, but hey, it's funny. I'll watch a handful of episodes again. Fanboy and Chum Chum. It's awesome.
Oh, that's nice.
Big Nate. So I've never read the books for this. Always a diehard wimpy kid guy. So if this is accurate to them, I can't say. It does translate the art style really well though, even on a TV budget. It's about Nate, who isn't even that big. He was around the same height as his friends. Garbage show! Just kind of making it through high school and occasionally making things awful for everyone around him. Also, one of his friends, frickin' Eagle, and has mutant eagle kid children. This show is weird. It's a pretty cute show. One thing I'll give Nick above all others is that they nailed slice of life about school. And I'm glad it's still living on. Big Nate gets a big thumbs up. Greg will still win a death battle, TBH. Cat Dog. Yes, guys, I'll confirm with all you fake Cat Dog fans keep parading around. He does in fact poop. As referenced in an episode. How he does so is unknown, but he does do it. We get a very detailed look of his innards several times, and he does not have a butthole. So, how does he do it? Well, dear viewer, Cat Dog is a very fun show with very hectic animation that's a surprisingly good look at dirty city life. Cat and Dog are played by two of my favorite voice actors, Jim Cummings and Tom Kenny, and both bring the wisecracking, self-centered, arrogant cat who still cares about his brother and well, he's a dog, to life. Also, it's just so unhinged, like the scene where Cat freaking pops out of Dog's mouth, or Dog Ouroboros himself, or whatever horrific chemical experiments caused a mouth to look like this. Alone in this world is you, but not really. I'm here for you. I love you, Gary. I know it's been hard. I'm here for you. You can talk to me. Just like how Cat View is always there for Dog One. See, the poop definitely comes out of the mouth of the other. All real monsters. If you followed me for a bit, or saw that one video I sneezed out in 3 days, got more views than the other ones I actually put effort into, I love you too! I mean, you might have heard me say, I'm not a big fan of all real monsters. I have a very small heart, being the soulless cold monster I am, and I can only fit one thing about monsters scaring humans into the cold, damp pores. That's what I thought at least. After rewatching it, I gotta say, I think Kid Me might be kinda dumb. Yes, this might be the grossest gross out show since, well, that one we'll get to later. And yeah, it's hard to stomach at points, but besides that, it's just plain fun. I love the variety of monsters they have, and the variety of ways they can mutilate their bodies to scare people. The trash roll is super well made. Classy Super finally realized their character designs are butt ugly and embraced it, even if the humans are scarier than the monsters. This is an early Nick show, which means by law, Tim Curry appeared in it. Please God, take me back to the time when Tim Curry was in every cartoon. Yeah, it's a fun, silly show with just absolute creatures. A scaring good time. It's Pony. This may come as a shock, but Nick does make shows that aren't SpongeBob nowadays. It's Pony is a pretty fun and relaxing show about a girl going through life at her parents' fruit stand. Also, PETA, the horse is here. Yeah, it's simple. It's just Nick's only two plot lines of two weirdos do weird things and slice of life in a school. But the rowdy, bubbly characters and Pony being a silly little goober is just a fun time. Being an original Nick tune released after 2012, it of course means it's canceled after 2 years. But hey, that just means it's short. So you can stop horsing around and set up shop. Middlemost Post. Okay, stop me if this sounds familiar. A modern Nick show that blends together their old tropes with a few modern touches with a fun bouncy art style that no one knows because Nick's more abandoned than Nickelback concert. Yeah, that's Middlemost Post. It's about a cloud who comes to a mountain and decides to become a mailman. Naturally. It's really fun to see all the different people they give mail to, all the different places on this mountain. It's another show that describes the notion that literally anything can be a character if you give it big enough eyes. The main three all work off each other really well, even though one can't even talk. And while it's mostly about the mail thing, there's a lot of episodes that deviate from the norm, like hanging out with a silly bug girl who's the best character, or eating toast. They say toast more than a 2011 YouTube group, I swear.
Toast.
Middlemost Post. It's not mid.
Middlemost Post.
Doug. I went into this show thinking it was going to be boring. What I wasn't expecting was that I really got into it. Instead of everyone being rainbows, it's probably the most grounded show here. Ignoring what Disney did to it, we'll get to that later. It just got that vibe, you know? It's one of the most earnest of all slice of life shows besides one. The characters are just charming in their simplicity. Besides my boy Roger, who's charming because he's the biggest hater and the best character. He was a blueprint for Reverse Flash. Too bad according to his voice actor Billy West, he's currently in jail. I'm just saying there's a reason Doug and the rest of his friends don't appear Nick anymore. Actually, the reason is the one thing worse than mass murder. Corporate legal nonsense. Doug was eventually given over to Disney, who continued the show and made a movie. The movie wasn't super good, I haven't seen the Disney episodes, but Disney had no rights to the Nick created seasons and legally can't show them. Likewise, Nick has access to the seasons they made, but not the Disney ones. Where it gets weirder that only Disney can make merchandise for the show, Nick has used it in their social media. Both can use it, but neither can do anything special with it. Doug is just a child of a divorce from a completely loveless marriage. Oh yeah, Mr. Dink is funny. Star Trek Prodigy. So I gotta make this clear first. I'd never seen anything Star Trek besides this. No movies, no shows. I've seen a scene of Kirk getting annihilated by a lizard, but besides that, I'm Trekless. So you might wonder what drove me to this show. Pity. A whole lot of pity. So after escaping from a slave mine, because that's what this network needed, Dale meets up with a bunch of other rejects and they all try to save the galaxy. The season we have is just really well paced and both dramatic and fun, and I'll leave it there for those who want to watch it. The animation though, it's a bit rough. The animation is pretty plastically, and that's not meant for this ambitious of a project. The characters are voiced amazingly, but the slower animation does not do them justice. Best Joe is Jacob Pog. Yes, that's his name. Who knows? After this, I might watch some old Star Trek. Or he get a girlfriend. Kung Fu Panda Legends of Awesomeness. With how big the Kung Fu Panda films are on the internet, I'm surprised no one brings up its show. Well, there's 3 actually, but I've only seen the Nick one. A big strike on this is the cast. Everyone does a good job, but obviously they can't get any of the actors back besides Lucy Liu and James Hong, so it just feels like it's not the characters. Especially Poe. Mike Wingert is good, but it just feels off not hearing Jack Black. Besides that though, it's a pretty fun show. It adds to the deep emotional panda lore, with all these new characters and techniques and such. I really like all the new villains, especially Fung. He's my 2 favorite things. A crocodile, and a complete loser. It's also really funny. They kept the same quirky humor as the films. What they didn't keep is the great fight scenes. They're super weighty and boringly choreographed. I'll give it this. I realize they suck balls at 1v1 and tend to put Poe up against armies or giant robots, which does look better. Definitely not as good as the films, but unlike the complete lack of any hair on any character, there's a lot underneath the surface.
Legends of Awesomeness. Sweet.
The Ren and Stimpy Show. Oh, sweet Jesus. How do I cover this show? So, yeah, John K. is Garbage Person. That's of course more beaten dead than Mr. Horse and Ren Sneak's help. His fingerprints are all over the show. It's almost like he co-made it. I wish I could give the credit to the not him people, but after John was fired, the episodes made without him, well, not that bad. Definitely not the oomph the earlier seasons have. But also the party cartoon is a sign that John himself isn't the special ingredient. It's a collaborative effort. Oh yeah, this is about Ren and Stimpy. There's not much to analyze in this show, just taking the most insane, chaotic, gross artiest way possible in any opportunity. Sometimes it's gut-bustingly hilarious, other times it falls as silent as Stimpy's failed fart. I think I respect this show more than I like it. One of the first 3 shows of Nick, really pushes the envelope, has a lot of clear effort into it. It just got baggage. Might not completely fill me with happy joy, but Ren and Stimpy isn't completely idiotic. As told by Ginger. Ginger's about a kid going through middle school dealing with the normal school problems, like overbearing parents, strict teachers, and bullies. Though in fairness, Miranda is fully in her right to bully anyone, and she has the privilege of having her mouth correctly placed. This is an interesting show. For a show no one really brings up super often, it's one that can be credited with a lot of things, including being one of the first big kids shows on one of the major networks to tackle more serious topics. It's kind of the whole thing with this show, talking about more realistic issues like mental health, abandonment, and a kid having a crush on their teacher. It kind of feels like an actual teen drama that just happened to be animated, and also her brother has a secret lab that no one questions. Despite that, never talks down to or disrespects its viewers, which truly makes it great. What's really interesting about this show is that on a complete technicality, it's Nick's second longest running show ever. Its final 6 episodes, despite being fully finished, never aired on the network for some reason, even though the show was fully finished in 2006 when it moved to Nicktoons Network. In 2016, 4 of the 6 were dropped on the Splat, and the final 2 were released on CBS All Access in 2021. That's 21 years across 4 networks. And you thought Nick being stupid was a modern thing.
On the other side.
The Wild Thornberrys, Nigel. That's all you need to know. Just his absolute thing of a man. The noises he makes. The face that just screams, I hit random on a character creator. How he's actually a great environmentalist despite his eccentricity. How he's Tim Curry. This is the actual peak male body. Oh yeah, he's in a show. So I really loved this show as a kid. It's all about just examining animals. Kenny was all about animals, and it's really fun to learn about them. Apparently this show hit some controversy from actual environmentalists, because it's not super accurate, which I get. But like it's a kid show, I'm not going to have a lion tear out a zebra's heart. I don't know, I just had a lot of fun with this one. At least until its later seasons. It's not bad, but they stopped using the animals and became a generic teen sitcom. If I told you the final episode was about boy bands, would you believe me? Still, I like it. It has animals, they're cool. The world is great. Stop destroying it in honor of Tim Curry. Or destroy it because of Tim Curry. The same mixed messages, Tim. Glitch Techs. So I debated if I should even include this show. It never aired on Nick, unlike Paramount Plus shows, so I could have ignored it. Especially since I have a bit of a hot take. That being, I hate season 1. Miko is so unbelievably annoying here. She screams almost all of her lines. None of the other characters do it, that's just her quirk. And I got tired of her super fast. Especially since she makes a lot of outdated gamer references, which is something everyone in this show does. Constantly. Every 10 seconds. Words no one has said in the last 7 years. This is what everyone thought Ready Player One was going to be. This show actually does it and still gets a pass? I don't like throwing this word around, but it's really cringe. With that said, season 2 took all that criticism and improved it, which is weird since it came out less than a year after the first. They massively toned down the annoying gamer lingo, Miko is actually a lot of fun now, and we get to keep the good stuff from season 1. That being, the extremely cool monster designs, and the really great animation, especially in the fight scenes. Also, we get Ridley, who's basically Dendy from OKKO, but not green, which means she's not as based, but still great. Season 2 of Glitch Techs is a prime example of why you should always give something a second chance, taking what I found to be a super irritating time to a genuinely fun time. So plug in and game on. Making Fiends. Here's the obligatory short series. Making Fiends is only 18 episodes of 7-minute shorts, but it's about a small green girl torturing and enslaving a town while a blue girl just freaking loves life, man. Even more so than that one show with the silly alien guy, this show just really takes advantage of its dark humor, which I won't spoil since, again, this is super short. The almost South Park-like animation also stands out, arguably the most simplistic art style of all time. Heck, every character only has one flat color to them, but it's just so striking despite that. Yeah, there isn't much to this one, but it's good, watch it, yeah.
Charlotte makes friends.
Rugrats. It's weird to think that this was the big Nick show before SpongeBob. You don't really see people talk about this show like they do with the other 90s Nicktoons, but like, it is kinda what you see, what you get moment. Babies do fun stuff, someone's really called Child Protective Services, Angelica is literally the devil. I really like the perspective here. It's fun to see the adults have a normal problem, and how the babies interpret it, and how they sometimes have these really weird imagination spots, where it's never super clear if it's real or not. It's just like Joker. Also, like Reptar, My Beloved. It can be kinda gross, why are there so many shots from inside the baby's mouth, but for a fun, lasting time, I recommend it. Tough Puppy, the moment you've all been waiting for. Tough Puppy has been kind of a running gag on this channel, but every time I talk about it, it was just running off my memories of watching it as a kid. Now that I've finally seen it again, it's actually funny. Like, I genuinely laughed really hard at it, and all the characters are actually pretty distinct, and not the one-bit stereotypes I thought they were. And the world it's set up is actually pretty cool and interesting, with all the different architecture that it has referencing different animal things. And I actually like the show. I was expecting this to be a joke entry, but it's genuinely pretty good. I mean, the main character is literally Spencer iCarly. Out of every late 2000s, early 2010s Nick show, it feels like Tough Puppy is the only one that hasn't gotten any sort of like meme revival around it, which is sad. This is a really fun show that I wish more people would talk about for reasons besides Kitty. Yeah, Tough's got the stuff. It's a really fun show. The Chameleon is a secondary antagonist of Tough Puppy. He's a lonely lizard who, after getting arrested by Tough, has sworn vengeance against them. Despite that, all he wants is a friend, and will instantly bond with anyone who happens to be paired with them. He's a deep emotional character, meant to represent you, the viewer. Just like how you are a bundle of endless potential who craves some sort of a bond, the Chameleon is too. He is all of us together. A culmination of all of humanity. And instantly takes a shine to Dudley, like you will instantly take a shine to Nickelodeon's hit classic Tough Puppy 2020. Back to the Barnyard. Barnyard the movie is a fun, cluttered, unfocused mess. I love it, but it is not something that should get a show. There's nowhere to take it. So where do they take it? Insanity. There's no laws, no rules, no breaks. Back at the Barnyard laughs at the line and skips ropes over it, using the corpse of all who dares challenge it. It's bonkers, but it's just so much fun. The film was a dramedy. This is just insanity doing whatever it can to be funny. And it shockingly works. Again, I don't want to just list off jokes, but it's utterly hilarious. You see utterly because the joke is... Welcome to Mail Time with Stripe. Now I know what you're thinking. What Stripe? You never had Mail Time with Stripe. That's true. Bye everybody! Oh, and also, in the movie, there's Otis's girlfriend and her kid. Well, they're gone here. What happened to them? Still a mystery. Chalk Zone. Do you remember the time where people visually despised this show? It was seen as by far the worst Nick tune for the longest time. But now, people seem to like it, which is good. Because like, how could you dislike this show? It's such a unique concept. A whole world where all the erased chalk drawings live. And the kid who is an omnipotent god who can create whatever he wants. They don't go that route. There's far less dick scared than there should be. It's really unfocused, I'll admit. Every episode is 3 or 4 unrelated shorts, but like, they're all really well made shorts. Yeah, it's just a cute show. Like all the characters. Carl's the best one. I know I ranked him low in the cartoon tier list I made. I'm stupid, I'm sorry. One of the shorts is always a song, which I do like. I wish they were actually connected to the actual episodes instead of unrelated things. And I wish we occasionally had a solo, instead of being stung by all 3 actresses at once. But they're all pretty well made songs. Maybe I'll make a ranking on them if anyone cared. Which you should, because I love this silly little show. No idea why it was so hated, chalking up the bad timing. But this is one show that shouldn't be erased. Cat Scratch. So fun fact, this is based on a comic. A very violent comic, full of death and swearing and gore. And there's a 4th cat for some reason. It had literally nothing to do with the show. But that's good, because I love this show. You got Waffle. Like seriously, why would you want anything else? You know, besides those 2 baller Flash games. It's mostly just these 3 cats goopering around and being funny. So it desperately relies on being funny. And let me tell you, I laughed at least once. Every minute, babe, that's right, peak fiction, Cat Scratch is amazing. William Shakespeare killed himself because he knew he would not be able to handle this complete and utter mastery. Sucks that it only lasted 20 episodes though. Especially since there were plans to making some of the side characters more important. It's going to be a recurring thing that the shows would have been great if Nick didn't take them out back so early. Like come on, it's a show about 3 cats. It should have like 27 lives. Set ended so soon, but when it was on, it filled me with spleen. Welcome to the Wayne. Arguably the most obscure show on this list, and that's an absolute shame. Welcome to the Wayne is about a trio of kids in a hotel that holds a mystery, filled with weird creatures and unsolved phenomena. And it's up to them to solve it. This feels like a show that would be huge if it was on any network besides Nick. It has a nice art style, fun characters, a really good mystery, for a show no one cares about, one of the best casts in any cartoon. You've got a lot of normal cartoon voice actors, but you also got anime dub actors, big celebrities, all 3 members of the Aqua team. Frick, the 2 main villains are Kevin Conroy and Veronica Taylor. It's a Batman Ash Ketchum crossover we all demanded. Good thing about this show is actually that no one knows that it does exist. So you can go in completely unspoiled, even if I wish it was longer. Check in and find out more. El Tigre, The Adventures of Manny Rivera. Superheroes are everywhere nowadays. But before I got into Marvel or DC, I was into this. El Tigre is about the hero, well, El Tigre, who loves a family split between heroes and villains, and he needs to decide which he will be. Mexican vibes and aesthetic really go a long way here. It really breathes new life into what could be a generic superhero show. That and the absolute manic energy everyone has. It's very fast-paced, but never feels like it's too much. Especially with Frida. She's absolutely nuts and hyped up on churros like 90% of the time, my precious little child. I do have two slight drawbacks. For one, the whole premise is trying to see if Manny sided with his heroic father or evil grandpa, but his grandpa really isn't that bad. He definitely does more good than bad. He's still a really fun character, so I can't get too mad. The other is, say it with me, it's too short. They had plans, but of course they never came to light. With that said, if you want more of this type of vibe, the show's creator also made the movie Book of Life and the miniseries Mayim 3. So if you like this show, I definitely say give them a spin too. The Legend of Korra. I'm gonna get hate for putting this on the list and not for putting it higher. I love making videos. So Korra is a super split series. It's all have high moments, but also a lot of lows. Season 1 is rocky. It was made as a miniseries, but it got some good stuff. Amon especially is a really great villain. He's got a great design and voice, and he makes a good point about bending. I also like Korra. She's nowhere near as arrogant as people make her out to be. And as the show goes on, she really comes into her own. But also, Amon is exposed as a bender, and then everyone immediately ignores that he's genuine about helping non-benders. And it's really cool idea is completely ignored, never brought it up again. Great! Season 2, bad. You know it's bad. The stuff with the past Avatar is great, but then there's everything else. Besides Varric, he's the best Nickelodeon character after Chameleon. 3, though, is just kind of consistently great. Both adding to the characters, and another great villain. 4, again, it's kind of mixed. Good for the same reasons as 3, but with a somewhat rushed ending. And yeah, I do need to mention the ending. On one hand, this is huge for the queer community as the first major form of rep. But also, I'm gonna be honest, I don't really see the chemistry between them. And this vaguely shot ending isn't really doing it for me as Amazing Rep. I gotta be honest. And then there's a whole bunch of other problems. Retconning the original, ruining characters from the last show. I covered it in this video. But again, it gave us Varric. So I like it. Yeah, it's got its ups and downs. If you don't like it, I understand. But I think the highs are just enough. The elements may not be in perfect harmony, but I think Korra is still enough to warrant a watch. Rise of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I covered this on my full video on it, so I don't have much to add. Rise has a very specific and fun style. Stylistic style. God, why do I even write the videos? A ton of great characters, and by ton I mean it has Donnie, who's the best. And when it needs to be funny, it is. When it wants to be emotional or epic, it is. It's good. Just watch this video. I'm very silly showing you. You should watch it right now. Just right now, watch it. The Penguins of Madagascar. At the 2000s kid, I like the Madagascar series. It's rule that if you don't like these films, you'll be executed. But, if I can have a little blasphemy as a treat, the show is so much better. It's funnier, it's got Dr. Blowhole, the only good character besides Chameleon Varric. It's so quotable even after all these years. Kowalski is the hottest of the 4 penguins. There are chameleons in it, so I like it. Heck, the animation is even pretty good, despite how TV CG usually sucks balls. Unlike Kowalski, I'm not good at analysis. I may make a video on this, I don't know. But it's a fun show that's endlessly rewatchable, even after all these years. Also, one scene looks like the funny sucking. Are you happy I mentioned it? There's more scenes in this one show, you idiot dummy! Watch the show! Alright, that's it. Rico, pipe on their houses. The Fairy Godparents. Time is a cruel mistress, as this phrase goes. It asked me my top 10 cartoons a decade ago, and I'd probably run away shooting Stranger Danger. But know that Fop would be high on that list. Now it's not even the top 10 Nicktoons. Yes, Nick kicked it when it was down. Particularly delivered so many times, I can't justify putting it higher. But this show's fall has been told many, many times. How about its high points? Well, nostalgia definitely helps, but also, you're watching this show. It's got a lot of hard-hitting scenes. Timmy's life is actually depressing. The show says that you're gonna grow up and have a bad life, boys get away with everything, your parents will ignore you, and through it all, there are still people who will be there for you. Looking to in things maybe, but a deep philosophical cartoon like The Fairy Godparents deserves it. This rivals SpongeBob in quotability, with so many classic episodes, catchphrases, and Crocker freakouts. There's a reason this show is still seen by myself and most people as the definitive number 2 of Nick, even after all the awful things that happened to the show. Just like all the awful things that happened to Timmy, we still managed to pull through, magic or not.
Yeah, right.
Danny Phantom. The Avengers of Jimmy Neutron, boy genius. So here's a fun fact. I wasn't allowed to watch the show as a kid. My mom saw a clip of a kid kicking an adult and immediately banned us from watching it. This is despite said episode clearly making him the bad guy, and even being about good parenting and how parents need to draw a line with their kids. I was robbed of seeing Hugh Neutron sit on a banana. This is the cause of all adult me's problems. I mean, I still watched the show and I knew my mom wouldn't see it. Jimmy Neutron is insane. From the many creative inventions, fellow quirky characters definitely would shadow each other's ways if this wasn't a kid show. Miss Follow especially. She was absolutely savage.
That's what you have! No talent!
I think I realized how bad this looks, which yeah, the show is absolutely butt ugly, especially in the earlier seasons. They really used it to their advantage, with pushing these expressions to their limits, enough to distract from the not so great visuals. Jimbo's Neutrino is the greatest show of all time, because it has skeet. I love seeing myself represented in media, a loser in a low-paying job. From here to the stars, Jimmy Neutron is pretty epic and pogger. Rocco's Modern Life. If you've heard anything about this show, it's about the constant innuendos it makes. The show thrives off clickbaity adult jokes and cartoon lists. That's a fairly small part of the series. Besides that, it's a very smart show outside of the haha sex. A lot might have changed in 30 years, but this show still hits pretty close to home. People like to bring up Lily Me characters, Rocco. He's closer to you than Patrick Bateman or any anime girl will ever be, because he's a normal dude trying to make it through life without any major problems. The universe took it as a challenge. We love to exaggerate normal problems and memes, but this show might be the most clever with it, with its constant escalation and varied characters. A good way to put it is that it's a 90s regular show, complete with taking normal situations to the absolute most insane extremes, pumping it full of jokes that you have no idea how they got past the censors. Also, Satan can have a normal life without him. Right, big guy? You see, it's a callback.
That was a hoot!
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2012. Like the other Turtles show, I made a video on this, so again, this will be quick. This is Ninja Turtles for me. It's got the best mix of goofiness and genuine coolness TMT is known for, some of the best CGI in a cartoon, a fairly engaging plot with some genuinely shocking moments, and a great lineup of characters which, even if some versions before and since are slightly better for me, will always be the first thing I think of when I think of Ninja Turtles. Justice for Ninja Man though. Invader Zim. Zim is simultaneously one of the best and worst created shows in animation history. The show lasted only 27 episodes, being cut off not even halfway through its second season, then immediately treated as a red-haired stepchild by Nick. But good merch sales and fan demand caused Zim to get a long-running comic, a revival movie, constant merch to this day, and Zim is a shoo-in for any time Nick does a crossover. I was mixed on the show as a kid. I thought it was all just murder and wall random humor. Turns out, it's actually a banger. Everyone likes to talk about spooky, scary, edgy stuff. It's there definitely, and it's a big part of its charm. But that was just really funny. From the grand way Professor Mainbrain holds himself, to Dib's constant insane ramblings, to Gaz's tranquil rage and epic gamer moments, to of course, Zim himself, whose mere speech patterns slay me. Owen Gert sometimes pops in. For pretty much the show's identity through its entire life, basically directly responsible for all the sudden good treatment I mentioned, and the lifeblood of Hot Topic. Yet outside of a single episode, he does nothing besides make a few offhanded jokes in a small handful of episodes. It's kind of funny how he held the show on his shoulders, yet did nothing. The art style is great too. It's just so striking compared to everything else on Nick. Funny, dark, and only held back by its short length. You all have a mighty need to watch it. My Life as a Teenage Robot. Everyone knows Jenny Wakeman. She's an extremely popular character, feisty fan art of basically every day, and was the most popular request for Nick All-Stars. She's also popular for other reasons. Despite that, I have never heard anyone talk about anything from the show. No other character, no one talked about any specific episode, nothing. Which sucks, because outside of Jenny, it's a fantastic show. The Art Deco art style really pops super well, looking like no other show. It's just so pretty. The action is great too, from its quick pace and this flashy zip zap and zoomy. You're like 30 minutes into this. Sunk cost fallacy has already caught you. This is an amazing villain, both funny and imposing, brought to life greatly by Eartha Kitt. Brad and Tuck are dorks, but they're my dorks. And while I wish the whole show got attention, Jenny herself is an amazing protagonist. Her constant struggle of being made to be a death robot, but just wanting to be a normal girl is really compelling. If I could write any show here, I'd go with this one. It bombed horrifically, since again, most people haven't seen the show, but it's still great. Harvey Beaks.
Man, that cat sure does love lasagna.
Been a prophet this whole time!
If you're even vaguely aware of the show, it's totally because of its awful treatment. It got severely undermarketed, then had its final episodes burned off on Nicktoons, all without telling its creator, then promptly burying the show, never bringing it up again. Here's a good reason why I did the last part though. because maybe only talking about how badly it's treated instead of its quality is a bit of a deterrent. It's made by C.H. Greenblatt, you might know from Chowder and Jellystone, so you might expect this to be absolutely insane, but actually no. It's one of the most down-to-earth shows Nick has. That seems like a weird way to take it, but for episode 1, you're on board. It's so genuine and earnest in its take. It's not hard to get sucked in. A pure positive spirit shines throughout the entire show, even with the more negative characters, who are a good source of comedy, as is, well, the entire cast. While it's nowhere near as wacky as other works, it's still a super funny show. It's also just beautiful. While I like these simple characters, the true beauty is in the gorgeous painted backgrounds and the orchestral music. Harvey Beaks definitely got the short end of a stick, but even then, you should definitely give it a watch. Hey Arnold. The 90s were a different time. I assume I was only around for like 3 months. But that was before cartoons really took themselves super seriously outside of comic adaptations. Hey Arnold was the exception. Focusing on a kid with the hairstyle of butterfly pasta, living life in the fictional city of Hillwood, dealing with, similar to Ginger, more realistic problems for kids, like abusive parents, obesity, and building sculptures made out of watermelon for their crush. Was that just me? Also ghosts. There are ghosts in this show. No one bats an eye, no one cares. There's a ton of rumors in this show, people spread that turn out to be fake, but no, they're ghosts. The ghosts are real. The ghosts are real! Unlike them though, one of the best parts of this show is how alive the town is. As I said, there's tons of rumors passed around by the kids. Every inch feels lived in and thoroughly thought on. While episodic, you can tell there are real growth from the characters as things go on, with everyone feeling like real people, not just joke machines. Besides Arthur's grandparents, who are insane, but they're great, and I wouldn't have it any other way. Touchdown to this football head, right now, right now, right now! Look at Disney List, you know what the top 2 are before you even click on this video, so I'm gonna do honorable mentions now to save a bit of suspense. This is listed from number 36 to number 44. Oh, a special mention to a show I haven't seen, Monster High reboots. Yes, I am a 24-year-old man who's a character with autism who's confirmed on screen. That's all you need for me to get interested. But sadly, this show doesn't exist. It's not on streaming services or other places. It does not exist for now. Hopefully I can watch it sooner or later. The Angry Beavers. Okay, this show is interesting because I really love Dag. He's great. Problem is, he has to share his spotlight with his brother Norbert. I hate Norbert. You know how Cat Dog has the dynamic of a fun-loving nice guy who gets some abuse but pulls through versus a guy who's selfish and always gets his just desserts? Yeah, let's do that. But one who always gets reviews is just genuinely trying to live his life, and the one who gets the good stuff is a self-centered, arrogant jerk who gets everything despite doing nothing. I kind of want to turn Norbert into a throw rug. But again, it's really funny, I do like Dag, and to be fair, they do turn the tables a bit occasionally in the later seasons, so I still like it. Also it gave us this.
Urethra!
Transformers Earthspark. I really should get more Transformers. This is the first time I finished a show for it. It's a fine show, worth watching with no real down points, but it's also not super special, and I'm sure there's better Transformers stuff that I'll get to eventually. But hey, it's fun. Robot and Monster. Why do we get 2 CGI shows about a short orange guy and a tall purple guy? I don't get it. It can be really funny, but it relies a lot on screaming. Besides that, it's fine. The Loud House. No show has had such a shift in reception as this did. I mean, looking at everything, it kind of makes sense. It's a brand new property. Oh! Like I immediately got beaten to the ground. Oh. It's got a really fun, unique art style. Oh! That tends to be awkwardly animated and stiff. Oh. It's a really varied and fun set of characters. Oh! That tend to be sidelined, used for cheap humor, and overly cruel to the main character. Oh. It's made by the showrunner of Powerpuff Girls and Dexter's Lab. Oh! The Bad Seasons. Oh. Also, he's a pedophile. Oh, come on! Okay, it's not a mention for a reason. It can be really funny. Like previous shows, it touches on important subjects. The comic-esque art style is really striking. The girls are great when they're on their own, not a hive mind that exists only team up on Lincoln. Heck, it'll probably make the inevitable top 30 Nick episodes. Just underneath the heavy layer of cringy incest images on DeviantArt, there's tons of problems to the actual show. And before you say it, no, it's not on the list because of the fandom. Steven Universe and Owl House have arguably more infamous fan bases, and they made the top 5 of their lists. It's definitely got good to it. I honestly am glad for it that the 2010s isn't completely ignored by Nick, but like, I wish I went to the show's direct release in the years before and after. Money B, a fairly average show with some really funny moments. That's all I have much to say about this one. Rocket Power and All Grown Up. I thought I might warm up to these like I did with Real Monsters. I didn't. Not bad. They're just either too 90s or too bland for me. I see their merit, but they're not for me. Planet Sheen. This is awful, but it's ironically peak fiction, and I have nostalgia for it. Yes, I could have watched Planet Sheen, but not Jimmy Neutron. My mom's plans are beyond your understanding. Finally, Sanjay and Craig. I saw that clip of Snoop Dogg and thought it was hilarious. And I thought this might be an Uncle Grandpa scenario, where a good show is judged unfairly for being episodic when people only cared for serialized cartoons. It's not, it's bad. Oh, but the growth rate stops after the first season. You're right, it does. Doesn't make it good. With that said, this is definitely a show to watch with friends. It's got an ironic appeal, my life has been improved after watching it, and I mean that completely genuinely. I constantly flop between the top two. I have good reason for putting either of these two at number one, but by just a hair, the runner-up is SpongeBob SquarePants. I could pull a fairy out, parents, and bemoan what this show has become, but frankly, it's completely irrelevant. Yes, SpongeBob has had more than a few bad episodes, but I really don't care. I grew up with the original seasons. I saw the first film in theaters. I once had this cursed artifact in my house, and I desperately wish I still did. SpongeBob is simultaneously a show everyone has thoroughly picked to pieces, yet also one that still has so much to say. You might not know it, but I thought of cartoons around a decade ago. Yet despite that, SpongeBob was always there, staring at me. Yes, I am making memes for this. Honestly, memes might have been the greatest thing to ever happen to Nick. It's just free press that happens every day. SpongeBob quotes are basically a second language to me. There's a reason I reference it in so many videos, and even daily life. Frick, while the characters may not be as deep as so many others, there's a reason they still connect so hard to me and everyone else who's seen the show. My favorite character has changed so many times throughout my life. Starting as Patrick, then Squidward, then Krabs, then Plankton, now SpongeBob himself. Heck, freaking Larry the godforsaken lobster, unironically, means more to me than a good 85% of characters. And I mean that completely genuinely. Yes, I will eventually do a full deep dive on Larry the Lobster. Yes, the show isn't as good as it was. But I would do that they're still doing weird things with it. Like bringing back old one-offs and making them recurring characters, or developing Krabs and Puff's relationship. No matter what this show does, SpongeBob has lodged itself in my brain, my heart, my soul. I am SpongeBob SquarePants. Yes, the first 3 seasons are the best, but I'll always love this little goofy goober, no matter what. It's Avatar. You knew it was Avatar before you clicked on this video. What was the point of making this video? Like, everyone knew it was gonna be number one, it was gonna be Avatar. Like, I built up 3 full years for this video. 3 full years for an answer everyone already knew! I love Avatar. Unlike SpongeBob, where I could still say so much about it, Avatar isn't picked dry. You know everything. The animation, beautiful. The characters, some of the greatest Western animation. Everyone has their own favorite, and by that, I mean 99% of people will say either Zuko, Iroh, or Azula. They're all wrong, by the way, it's Sokka. His arc is honestly overlooked by everyone. That's rough, buddy. I think the big thing, though, is how not Nickelodeon this show is. Listen, I love Nick. I've been subtle about it, I know. But this intricate, story-based series with its complex ability system and arcs, that's not Nick. They're the funny channel, the relatable school channel. And I think that the fact that we got Avatar still basically completely unharmed, the full vision of its creators, feat not even the sequel could get, really shows that just like Aang himself, something this grand can really only come out once in a generation. Forever one of the best cartoons, and of course, the greatest Nick show of all time. So, Nick's had its up and down. You would argue it hit it down and never rise back up. There's just one problem with that. Nick's not the problem. It's you! You are the cringe-native baby of legend! Think about it. No one talks about any show post-Korra besides Loud House. That's only to mock it. The most popular show after that is the one that didn't even air on Nick, and the very, very far second place is only known for being mistreated. Every single time a new SpongeBob episode comes out, I see it all over Twitter. But it's Pony, Welcome to the Wayne, Milmos, none of them I've heard anyone talk about. So no doubt they're all gonna die immediately. I went into this thinking it'll be negative. But as I went through, no, Nick still holds up, and it's still going strong. Arguably better than its rivals. While most of it is reboots, Nick still has proven they can make unique, clever, fun stuff like they did when I was a kid. Will they ever hit their stride again like their 2000 shows? Honestly, I doubt it. Interest has majorly waned in Nick's future, but through their ups and downs, I'm so glad I got to grow up with it and revisit it today. And that's it. After 3 years, I've done watching through all the big 3 kids animation channels. This is gonna sound corny, but this really did change my life. Again, I stopped watching cartoons around a decade ago, so it's so weird to just be universally seen as the cartoon guy now. It's changed my very mindset. And as sappy as it is, watching and talking about shows for children has genuinely saved my life. Though this isn't the best place to go into that. It feels surreal for it to all be over now. 3 years of spending my life, spending every available time I could watching shows from Cartoon Network, Disney, and Nickelodeon, and it's all over now. It's really the end of the era for me, but it still feels fitting that this part of my life was started by me making a video on, of all things, SpongeBob. This is what made me a cartoon channel, which means I'm lower than whale poop, but I have other things. I've done videos on video games and anime. I'm not completely lost cause, guys. I haven't ran about Teen Titans Go yet. I can still be saved. I can still be salvaged. But, yeah. My goal, the weird pipe dream I joked about, of watching through the big 3 channels. That's done. I've done it. This feels like I'm ending my channel. I'm not. Don't worry, I'm not going anywhere. Neither of these big top 35s. Anime films have been planned forever. And then the next big walkthrough will either be Netflix or adult cartoons. Though, probably Netflix first. Because... But despite it all, watching silly kids shows came up at a good time for me. So thank you all for coming with me. And I hope to see you all in the future. In honor of Nickelodeon, I'm gonna slime myself. Come on, bring on the slime.
Fired from your job so you can't pay the bills. And by the way, your wife is leaving too.